And now back to the show. And now
back to the studio. Oh, sorry.
And now a promo from one of our friends.
The hell are you doing?
Welcome to Namely 90s. Wow. The podcast that takes you back to the time before smartphones, Google, and Y2K. Join your hosts as they relive the pop culture that shaped a generation and the parts that many people wish they could forget. Listen in to the conversation about how the decade defined those who spent their childhood there and how it shaped them as adults. So, turn down the grunge and dial up the internet. Let's get started. It's time for Namely 90s.
Yes, hello, you're listening to Namely 90s. My name is Andrew. Over there is Brandon.
That's me.
You can find us online at namely90s.com or on Twitter and Instagram at namely90s with the 90s. You can also watch this show, if you'd like, on YouTube at namely90s.com/YouTube. This is the February of 1991 episode. We are just cruising right through this month of February, more than halfway through. Can you believe that?
Yes, because it's the shortest month of the year and it started on a Monday.
That's fair. Well, okay, fine. No, it is a short month, but time flies when you're having fun.
Yes. Said, yeah, I guess. I almost said we're recording this in January, but we're not actually recording this in January. I don't know what time is. If I've not been asleep for the last few, probably since Friday, I've been working on either this show or Rewind.
Can you believe it's more than halfway through the 2nd of February?
Yeah, right?
Okay, so what's
doesn't
new?
feel like it. Doesn't feel like it. Well, did you hear about next month? Since you're saying how close we are to it, did you hear that CBS All Access, the streaming service, is going to be rebranded as Paramount Plus?
Wow, that's not confusing at all.
Well, so CBS is a Paramount Viacom company, I think. Or,
sure.
Yeah. Or that's the movie side of their
I feel like in like 10 years it's going to be like NBC, Xfinity, Paramount, CBS. They're all going to be just merged into one big studio.
Well, I mean, yeah, Disney is buying everything, but
true.
NBC is owned by Universal, so it'd be NBC, Universal, Xfinity. Or no, Comcast. They own Comcast.
That's true.
Know. I'll say they did
Univision. I don't know.
The Univision is part of the Universal company. I'll send you. There's a clip from 30 Rock where they explain it in a very joking way, but it's still the absolute truth. And then they're like owned by General Electric at some point. So yeah, but. With that, there's a possible Fraiser reboot coming to Paramount Plus, which makes no sense to me because Fraiser was on
see
NBC.
The grimace I was just making.
Well, no, not just that. That was an NBC show, I'm fairly sure.
Yeah, but shows move from one network to another sometimes when they're getting bad.
Yeah, like Scrubs when they go to ABC for the last season or two, but and by last season or two, I mean the final season and then the extra season where they had a spin-off show.
But is anyone asking for a Fraiser reboot or revival?
Kelsey Grammer fans?
Okay.
Maybe Kelsey Grammer himself. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't mind stepping back into not just the Frasier universe, but the Cheers universe, which also included Wings. Fantastic show. If you loosely define the word fantastic. But yeah, they're getting a reboot revival series. Probably, I assume Frasier's going to be doing exactly what we're doing in podcasting. But it's in talks. It's in talks. Niles probably won't make an appearance.
I wonder if the CSI revival is coming to or Paramount Plus or actual CBS?
That's a good question, because CBS still has all the crime dramas and such on their show.
Yeah, they're like season 28 of NCIS.
Yeah, and they almost have as many NCIS spinoffs as CSIs at this point. But I also noticed that Paramount Plus, an iCarly reboot is coming to Paramount Plus. iCarly being a kids TV show starring Miranda Cosgrove, Jeanette McCurdy, and I really like Jerry Trainer.
What's with the I? Is she an overpriced Apple product?
This was around the time that the iPhone came out. The series ran from 2007 to 2012, so it was very iPod, iPad.
But why is that her name? I don't get it.
It's the name of their web series.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but they're doing a reboot revival series. It's not a reboot because they're not refreshing it. They're in the way that they're replacing everyone and doing a brand new version of it. It's a continuation of the series, I guess, but as a drama, possibly, like the Brady's. So
the college years.
Yeah. Or post-college years, to be fair.
True.
Because I think she graduated from something at the end of the series.
University.
Yeah.
Cosmetology program.
Well, it's been 10 years, so... Thank you, Siri. It's been about 10 years since the show aired, so it'll be... She must have gone to college by this point and finished it, probably.
Maybe she's working for Paramount Plus, creating garbage content for their new streaming platform.
Well, I believe at the end of the series, she went to go live in Yakima, as they pronounced it on the show, which really annoyed me. They kept saying Yakima as if it was pronounced Hickama.
You mean like here in Washington?
Yes, it was set in Seattle, the original iCarly series.
Oh,
yeah.
Did it feature the woman with the bruised breasts or whatever from the Jewel poem?
No, but I thought it was a good tie-in to the fact that you're going to be reading Jewel's epic Seattle during our break today.
Yeah, I think they're also talking about releasing NCIS Bismarck, North Dakota, or whatever. Is it South Dakota or North Dakota?
Bismarck is in North Dakota.
The joke being that it's all
South
landlocked,
Dakota.
So why the hell is the Navy there?
Gotcha.
Just saying. Like investigating crimes that don't even have anything to do with the Navy sometimes.
They fly too.
True.
Yeah. But not that far. Is that far? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. Watch, they probably have a Navy base there making me look like an idiot.
Right. And that'll be showing on screen now if you're watching this on the YouTube. So, yeah, anything interesting in your neck of the woods?
Well, let's see. As we discussed last time, I've not driven through any car washes at high rates of speed.
Oh, good. Hopefully. This is all in the same reporting block.
Yeah, I have to say the drivers around here, I have to talk about this because I left late for work one day and I was like, oh, but I'm not that late. I'll just stop in at Starbucks. And it's like that thing where you go in at 10 a.m. and either the line is so long or there's no one. So today there was no one, but the other day I was late. And of course I was like, I'm going to stop for coffee anyway. I'm late. Doesn't really matter. And I swear the line was just immense, but it's like one of those drive-thrus that once you're in the line, the way that the building is laid out, you really can't get out of the line. And then the lady, when I finally got to the ordering place, the lady wanted to have like a really long conversation about stuff. And it's like, ma'am, there's like 20 people in the line. Can we just get a move on here?
Wait, were you ordering from a window or from the...
no, you order like the little menu board and then you go up to the window.
How could you have a conversation on that thing? It just sounds like...
She's like, welcome to Starbucks. What sounds fantastic for you today, sir? And I was like, It doesn't sound that great. I'm thinking in my mind, like, rattle off my order. It's like, okay, great. And we're going to do anything for lunch? We're going to do a grilled cheese. We're going to do a turkey and pesto panini. We're going to do a caprese panini. Are we going to? I'm like, okay, you don't have to list off the entire menu.
The entire menu for you. That'd be.
And then I was like, no, I'll just stick with that. And like, do you want to buy a croissant? It's National Croissant Day. You can donate a croissant, and then if you buy one, you get another. I'm like, lady, I don't want a croissant. Why is this taking so long? So I finally get up to the window and get my beverage. And off I go. And I swear, I've never gotten behind so many people who didn't want to drive in a town that like people are either going 10 under or 20 over. And I just like could not get where it was the most infuriating.
So
I was 20
American
minutes
city.
late to work. I was 20 minutes late. And
Wow.
it was just like, it was complete nonsense. So I did not get away from bad driving and traffic and crowdedness by moving to this area. Whoops.
Yeah. For some reason I was just thinking like, they should have a Starbucks in a veterinary hospital lobby. Because do they not have them in the hospital lobbies?
It'd be the hospitals, but we're not a real hospital, man. Although apparently they're building a quote chicken franchise. I did air quotes like on the same block as us. So I think we're all looking forward to that, whatever that is.
Do you know which chicken franchise in air quotes?
I'm thinking Popeyes. There's a Popeyes in Post Falls, Idaho, and the line is like it goes into the main roadway. There's one Popeyes for a town of this size, and it's like people love their Popeyes. It's ridiculous. I hope we get another one.
Love that chicken and Popeyes.
I mean, it's pretty good. It is better than the KFC fried chicken.
Absolutely, and the sandwich I think is the best.
Yeah, but KFC fried chicken is just like. It's really slippery and it kind of grosses me out.
I mean, I like the breading, the original and extra crispy breading on KFC menu, but they do like the buttermilk soak for the Popeyes chicken, and if you get it spicy, it's soaked in hot sauce or marinated, excuse me. But
you have the choice between grilled or spicy.
Yes. That's a callback to a Wendy's gag from, was it Wendy's? Yeah.
It was Wendy's.
2 decades ago at this point.
Anyway, much to my consternation, the drivers are bad here, and maybe I should just leave on time from now on.
That might help.
Anyway, well, I suppose it's that time. Let's move on into talking about February of 91. So what was the what was the happenings around that time?
Well, let me take you back to February 1991. On the 1st, the president of South Africa announces plans to repeal the apartheid laws. Note that doesn't actually go into effect until I believe July of this year. Not
2021. Okay.
Yes, 2021. On the 2nd, U.S. postage stamps increase from 25 cents to 29 cents. On the 6th, Street Fighter II is released for arcades, which is considered the grandfather of fighting games. On the 9th, Tim Meadows and Adam Sandler join the cast of SNL. Also on the 9th, The Adventures of Pete and Pete premieres on Nickelodeon. On the 10th, Emma Roberts is born. Do you know who Emma Roberts is?
Crap. I think I do. I'm going to look her up.
She's the niece of Julia Roberts.
I wasn't really aware of her. Okay.
Really? She's been in a lot of stuff in the last decade or so.
All right.
Ask Kayla. She might know. Also, in February of 1991, on the 14th, Meg Ryan marries actor Dennis Quaid.
I bet he was all smiles. Looks like a Cheshire cat.
He was a Cheshire cat?
No, he's just like a giant floating grin. It's freaky.
On the 14th, DMA Design Limited, also known in the future as Rockstar North, releases Lemmings for the Amiga video game console / personal computer. Yeah. On On the 17th, Bonnie Wright, the actress who played Ginny. Is it Ginny? Ginny Weasley. Ginny Weasley in the Harry Potter movies. I always said it the wrong way, and now I can't remember which way is the right way. I've not watched the Harry Potter movies in some time, nor read the books in 2 decades at this point. 1 decade at this point.
Right.
I know how old I am. Bonnie Wright and Ed Sheeran are born. On the 22nd, Deborah Norville co-anchors the Today Show for the final time. She is replaced by Katie Couric while she goes on her maternity leave. And
was that creepo Matt Lauer still on there at that? Had he started yet?
I believe he did.
He ended up being a perv, right?
I think so. We'll talk about that later. On the 28th, the Gulf War ends after Iraq accepts a ceasefire after the retreat from Kuwait. And then in the box office, we have LA Story on the 8th, as well as The Never Ending Story 2, The Next Chapter. On the 14th, we have Silence of the Lambs. And on the 15th, we have He Said, She Said. I recognized maybe 2 movies, and one because it was a terrible sequel to an 80s movie.
I think it's fairly complicated to explain when your movie is called The Never Ending Story and then it ends. Just say, like you're writing a check you can't cash.
That is a great point. I didn't think about that.
Thank you. What's La Story?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, LA Story. It was a joke. Sorry.
On the Billboard charts, number 1 for the first week. Coming in from January, we have The First Time by Surface. On the second and third week, we have at number 1, we have Gonna Make You Sweat, parentheses, Everybody Dance Now by CNC Music Factory. And to end the month, we have All the Man I Need by Whitney Houston.
I at least recognize the Everybody Dance Now one.
By CNC Music Factory?
I'm pretty sure.
Wow. That's impressive.
I'm not going to try to do my rendition of it, no.
Yeah, I can't either. Or can I? Nope, I can't. You're not getting that one out of me.
Gosh, the 90s, the early 90s.
Bum, 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 bum. Yeah.
And now a reading from the Book of Jewel. Seattle. Tonight on the street, I saw a woman whose hard living had turned her into a weak man, robbed of all softness, no magic, no awe. She had bruised breasts and was arguing with a drunk boyfriend in the middle of the road. He held her collar while her sour face reddened and hollered and spit until finally he threw her down like a beetle on its back, her thick skin cursing. I wanted to stare but just kept walking like all the other passers-by, the clear bottle of vodka in her hand, lighting up like a watery lantern. Yeah, I mean, I've been to Seattle a few times, so yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Sounds like a Cap Hill.
Pioneer Square, maybe, / First Avenue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pike Place.
She probably just like stepped out of the cab, saw that, and was like, "Yeah, no," just left. Went to Alaska.
Stepped off the Alaskan cruise ship.
Yeah, exactly.
For some reason, the entire time that you were reading that, I had that Jewel song, "Dreams" or whatever, was stuck in my head. The dreams last for so long, even after you're gone. Oh, you were meant for me. That was the one.
Thanks, Jewel.
Thanks, Jewel. So, anywhere you want to go?
No. Let's just wrap it up. Just fold up shop, head home.
Yeah, we got a good solid 10 minutes in. Let's call it. Obviously, we have to talk about Silence of the Lambs. It is capital good.
So I'm going to make an admission, which is not surprising. I've never seen it, but I know some of the lines.
Oh, yes.
Can you give me a...
I thought you were going to say, can you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? And I was about to say, that's not the movie.
30-second overview
of Silence of the Lambs. All right. Tell me when to start.
Go.
All right. FBI recruit Clarice Starling is called in on a case for a mass murderer they're calling Buffalo Bill, who is slicing women up and taking their skin to wear a meat suit. She goes and meets Hannibal Lecter, who is a other serial killer, where she is hoping to find and profile this killer. Yeah. Was that 30 seconds? Am I still
But
going?
he turns out to be the actual killer?
No.
No.
Hannibal Lecter, played by
Anthony Hopkins.
Thank you. He is, while a murderer and actually was a therapist before he was arrested, therapized, as the word is, the actual serial killer, Buffalo Bill. Oh. And he knows who he is, and then he helps her along, but also toys with her from behind his plexiglass murder cell. And it's kind of a mystery thriller, and well, I guess not mystery, because you see all the killing. So
it's a metaphor. Silence of the Lambs.
The term Silence of the Lambs refers to the horrible incident that happened to Clarice when she was a kid on her uncle's farm. She heard screaming in the middle of the night or early morning. She went out to the barn to find her uncle, or barn/slaughterhouse, to find her uncle prepping the lambs for being turned into lamb chops.
Slaughtered? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And then she heard the screams, saw what happened, and ran away and never stopped running.
So what are the lines from this? I know, hello, Clarice. I remember that line.
Yes. Hello, Clarice. The other ones, so Hannibal Lecter, I think it's the first time he meets Clarice, and he says something to the extent of, the last time someone tried to do a psych eval on me, and this is the quote, I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti. And he does the little air sucking thing.
Yeah. Yep.
And then I think the rest of the good lines are from the serial killer Buffalo Bill. When he's like grabbing one of his victims, he's having her move like a couch into his van, but has her go in first. Ladies, if someone asks you to help move a couch into a van, don't be the first one in. Never be the first one in.
I would probably leave at that point. Just walk away. Or run, screaming.
He says, what are you, a size 14? Yeah. And then the other classic moment is when Buffalo Bill is dancing around in I think it's a negligee or possibly just some sort of silk scarf, naked, but he's tucked himself. The song Goodbye Horses is playing as he's just like, as the girl that he captured is in a hole. And he's and he's just like dancing around to the camera with a tuck going on, and he goes, and we might have to bleep this, would you fuck me? I'd fuck me hard.
That's for Family Guy. Okay, They did that joke.
Yep.
I didn't understand the reference.
Yep. And then so she's in the well that he has in his basement, and he has this little white dog, little yappy dog that accidentally gets So no, first, he's having the girl moisturize herself so that when he does like slice her up, the skin becomes good for his skin suit because he wants to become a woman. You see, not so great for trans people. Now that I think about it, not because this is not
didn't age well.
Yeah, well, just the implication. Being that that's how they want to manifest their female selves in the world. But so very 90s way of looking at that. But what was I saying? The line, "It puts the lotion in the basket or it gets the hose again," is from... Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah. And then the dog falls in. He yells at her to put the lotion in the effing basket. And then the dog falls in and she's like threatening to kill the dog. And he's like, "Give me my effing dog back." Except he says the word.
This is a really strange movie.
Oh yeah, it's very strange. But it's good. Jodie Foster, Anthony Hopkins. I'm just going to spoil the whole thing for you. He, in exchange for helping Clarice figure out who Buffalo Bill is, he gets moved to a less maximum security prison, I guess. I honestly don't know where he is. There's like, you know how in like the newer Bond movies, they have the villain in like a tank in the middle of like a giant room. That's where he got moved to. And he's like in this giant cell in the middle of like an art gallery or something, and like he manages to kill the guy that served him food, tear off his face, wear it, and then drop the body down the elevator shaft, so they think he was hiding in the elevator shaft, but instead he is wearing the guy's face as they roll him out into the ambulance, which is very chilling but awesome.
Okay. Well,
I highly recommend it if you like a good thriller, which I don't. I prefer thrillers over mysteries. I don't like, or not mysteries over like horror movies. It's not a straight horror. It's like it's a thriller. It's a smart. It's smart. It's well written. It's well shot. The suspense, while palpable, it doesn't like. You're not worried there's going to be a jump scare like that. That's the thing I hate. Yeah. So it's definitely good viewing. Also, the prequel starring Edward Norton called Red Dragon. A lot of people hate it. I liked it. Just throwing that out there.
Well, this all sounds like a very good segue into the adventures of Pete and Pete.
Yeah, except it's well, it's not the opposite. More people like this show. Well, I don't know. Actually, now that I say that out loud. The Adventures of Pete and Pete. We watched an episode for our Halloween special. I sent you a link to something in the thingy, in the chat.
Oh.
Maybe I meant to send that to you before we started the episode. But yeah, I don't know. You should be plugged in, right? Anyway, The Adventures of Pete and Pete is an American comedy television series created by blah, blah, blah for Nickelodeon. It centers around two brothers, both named Pete Wrigley, and their humorous and surreal adventures in suburbia among their equally eccentric friends, enemies, and neighbors. Jason Ankeny of AllMusic called the series the greatest children's show ever, while IGN calls it one of the most well-written kid shows ever.
Okay.
So yeah, we watched an episode for our Halloween special podcast of horror, which I guess I got to gush about the show then. But it's been months since we did that. Are you watching the clip? So about 3 years ago, hopefully you're watching with volume.
Yeah, but it's hard to listen to you and watch it with volume at the same time. So.
Okay, so about 3 years ago, they started pushing all the old Nickelodeon shows on whatever Noggin turned into. I think it's called Nick Rewind or something. one of the extra Nickelodeon channels, but I just sent Andrew a video of they were pushing Pete and Pete hard for its 25th anniversary. So they had like a
like
promo,
a sketch.
Yeah, a sketch where the younger Pete, played by, or the actor Danny Tamborelli, who played the younger Pete, was being plagued by the voiceover of the older brother Pete, which is kind of how, if you watch the show, the older Pete would usually have the voiceover of the episode because he was the sane and normal one. And then it just kind of spun out of control where in this sketch where Danny Tamborelli thought he had too many milkshakes for dinner.
The doctor said 4 milkshakes before bed could cause me to have nightmares.
Yeah. And then he's just like, Pete. My favorite line is, "Do you remember Ellen, Pete? She was my friend who was a girl, but not my girlfriend."
Yeah. That's funny.
I'm glad I could share this with you now that you've seen an episode, so you kind of know what went on. But last time, I don't remember if I listed off the numerous guest stars that were in this series, but they include Selma Blair, Steve Buscemi, Ellen Cleghorn, Marsha Crenshaw, Art Donovan, Martin Donovan. Wow, this list is a lot of people. Janine Garofalo, Chris Elliott, Frank Gifford, Patty Hearst, LL Cool J. Yeah. Larissa
the
Olmec.
Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah. Kate Pearson, Iggy Pop, as I told you before, played Nona's dad. Sarah Shannon, Michael Stipe of REM. Adam West was the principal at Younger Pete's school. Yeah, there are great episodes, including Halloweeny, which we watched. Do you remember anything about that episode?
I do. Yeah. I still don't know why he didn't trick or treat at that last house.
Right. He was so close. And then other episodes, I remember King of the Road, where I think it's the pilot, like one of the first episodes where they're traveling to the Grand Coulee Dam, and they pile in an old station wagon, and it's just like all the little dad things, like the dad's, the further his elbow sticks out is the source of pride for his vehicle.
Yeah.
Et cetera, et cetera. A lot of like interpreting the world through kid lenses. And I love that because it was very accessible when you were a kid. Hard Days, right. Pete hears a song playing out of some garage, and he has to create his own band to recreate the sound because he couldn't find out what the song was. Yeah, that's good. And before we end today, I thought we should talk about the Today Show ?
That was one with Al Roker, right?
Yeah, he's surprisingly the only one still on. Al Roker, the weatherman.
Katie Couric hosted a game show for a while, right? And then
she hosted the nightly news.
Oh, and then Matt Lauer was like a sex pervert.
Yes, that was in the last 5 years or so that it came out that he kept dropping his junk on people's desks.
That's not a thing from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He turned out to be a GD diddler or whatever. Is that from?
I do not. That sounds correct, but I don't remember that exact line.
Okay, that's funny.
Yeah, but I just wanted to say, like, Katie Couric taking over, like, that's Katie Couric, Matt Lauer, Al Roker, the old guy that's probably dead at this point that would like wish people happy 100th birthdays.
Yeah, what was his name?
Do not remember. Willie Scott.
Yeah, Willard Scott.
Scott. And then who was the Asian one? They had the token Asian not weather, but she would do like the news desk stuff when they came back from segments. Ann Curry. That can't be right. That sounds racist.
Yeah, I think I know you're talking. Didn't she host Big Brother? No, that's a different one.
Did she host? No. Ann Curry Today Show. Yep, Ann Curry.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. I wasn't just hungry. So that is the Today Show lineup that I remember, because I would, if I was sick from home from school, the Today Show would be on before we got to The Price is Right at 10.
Yeah, I feel like it started at 9 a.m.
The Today Show
8
started at like 6.
Oh, it got over at 9 maybe.
Yeah. It was over at 9.
I never watched those shows, but that's the lineup I associate with the Today Show. Yeah, for sure. Now it's over at 10 because Kathy Lee and Kathy and Hoda drink wine for an hour. Actually, that's dated now because Kathy Lee Gifford left the Today Show 4th or 5th hour, whatever it was called. And Hoda, I think Hoda now hosts it with Jenna Bush, one of the Bush twins. Yeah. And in 40 years, when we look back on this, that will be President Jenna Bush. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
I'm never going to watch the Today Show.
Yeah.
Certainly not now.
Well, did you not watch any morning news when you were getting ready for school?
Not really.
Well, that's exciting.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I didn't have a TV when I was young in my room, so
neither did I. Really. But my mom would have the Today Show, either the Today Show on in the morning or like Como News.
I feel like we had Good Morning America on more often.
That's where I was digging for. Were you a GMA?
Good Morning America. Good Morning America.
Let me invite the Australian Prime Minister over from Austria. Yes, I was trying to figure out, were you a GMA family or were you a Today Show family or whatever they have on CBS?
Well, we were a Good Morning America family, and we came out on the right side of history because I don't think any sex perverts have been ousted from that show.
Yeah, to be fair, Katie Couric left the Today Show to be the nightly news host on CBS, if I remember correctly. So, yeah. They don't have sex perverts, and they definitely have way too many episodes or versions of CSI and NCIS.
Do we have to specify sex pervert? I guess not. There are other types. I don't know. Then I think that's it for this week's edition of Namely 90s.
You can find new episodes out every Monday. Find us on Twitter at Namely90s with a 90s, or find our personal accounts at bshwitty and at NamelyAndrew and tell us what you want us to talk about on future episodes. Also, I keep forgetting that we're now kind of pushing the Instagram/Facebook page, which is whatever those things are / at namely 90s with the 90s. You can also contact us through our website, namely90s.com. Please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, Mr. Tasty, Deezer, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and wherever you get your podcasts from. I'm Brandon. That's Andrew. And I wanted to say something about fava beans. Next time.